The Poetext, Part 6. My heart is a hand. That tightness into a fist, it is a shrinking thing, like a raisin, like a too tight tea, like fingers that curl but have no other hand to hold them, so they just end up biting into themselves. Wednesday, November 14th. A poem Mommy will never read. Mi boca no pueda escribir una bandera blanca. Nunca será un verso de la Biblia. Mi boca no pueda formarse el lamento que tú dices tú y Dios merecen. Tú dices que todo esto es culpa de mi boca porque tenía hambre, porque era callada, pero ¿y la boca tuya? Como tus labios son grapas que me perforan rápido y fuerte. Y las palabras que nunca dije quedan mejor muertas en mi lengua, porque solamente hubieran chocado contra la puerta cerrada de su espalda. Tu silencio envuela una casa oscura, pero on a reseco de quemarse, la mariposa nocturna siempre busca la luz. In translation, my mouth cannot write you a white flag. It will never be a Bible verse. My mouth cannot be shaped into the apology you say both you and God deserve. And you want to make it seem it's my mouth's entire fault because it was hungry and silent. But what about your mouth? How your lips are staples that pierce me quick and hard, and the words I never say are better left on my tongue, since they would only have slammed against the closed door of your back. Your silence furnishes a dark house, but even at the risk of burning, the moth always seeks the light. Heartbreak. I never meant to hurt anyone. I didn't see how I could by stealing kisses as I whispered promises into ears that I know now weren't listening. I pretend not to see him in the hallway. I pretend not to see them at home. The ultimate actress, because I'm always pretending I'm blind, pretending I'm fine. I should win an Oscar. I do it so well. Is this remorse? Is this worthy of forgiveness? Reminders. I lie in bed doing homework while Twin watches anime on YouTube. He stopped wearing his headphones so that I can listen in. It's technically breaking Mommy's rules, but she would never punish Twin. Halfway through an episode, a commercial endorsed by one of last year's Winter Olympians comes on, and I must make a noise because Twin looks over his shoulder at me. He quiets his laptop. Are you okay? But I just bury my head in my pillow and remind myself to breathe. Writing. The next day and the one after that, I spend every class writing in my journal. Ms. Galliano sends me to the guidance counselor, but I refuse to talk to her either until she threatens to call home. So I make up an excuse about cramps and stress. Hiding in my journal is the only way I know not to cry. My house is a tomb. Even Twin has stopped speaking to me, as if he's afraid a single word will cause my facade to crack. I hear Mommy on the phone making plans to send me to DR for the summer, the ultimate consequence. Let that good old island fix me. Every time I think about being away from home, from English, from Twin and Caridad, I feel like a ship at sea. All the possibilities to end up anywhere I want, all the possibilities to be lost. What I'd like to tell Aman when he sends another apology message. Your hands on mine were cold. Your lips near my ear were warm. Your I'm sorry fervent, but you have no need to apologize. I know silence well. None of this was ever about you. You were just a failed rebellion. Of course, I'm lying. You were everything, but I can't have you. Without entering a fight, I won't win. I know none of these were battles that I wanted in the first place. Wednesday, November 21st. Favors. The night before Thanksgiving, Twin pulls my headphones out, offers me a sliced up apple and a soft smile. You haven't been eating much. I take the plate and stare at the fruit, surprised he's even noticed. I'm just not hungry. I eat everything but the seeds because I know that Twin is worried and I really can't resist apples. Xiomara, can I ask you a favor? Will you write a poem about love? One about being thankful that a person is in your life? I look at my brother blankly. I wonder if he knows how close he is to having his face pierced by apple seeds. Something in my gut rebels against the apple, and I feel it wanting to come all the way back up my throat. For a second, I think of all the poems that I wrote for Amon, but I push the thought away. I shove the plate at Twin. You want me to write a love poem for White Boy? Was that what this apple was all about? Twin stares at me, baffled, and then something clears on his face. He pulls my empty plate against his chest like armor. His name is Cody, and the poem was actually for you. I thought it would be cathartic to write something beautiful for yourself. Pulled back. I'm helping Mommy dice potatoes and beets for her ensalada rusa when the phone rings. She answers and passes it to me, and I can't imagine who it is. Caridad's voice screeches in my ear. Listen, woman, I know you're upset. I know you got a lot going on, but don't you dare ignore me for 2 weeks straight. Just because you got your cell taken, you can't call nobody? And instead of getting angry, I actually tear up. It's such a small thing, but also so normal. Caridad never takes my shit, and she lets me know this time is no different. She sighs, and her voice softens. I'm worried about you, Zio. Don't shut us out. And she can't see me nodding through the phone, but I murmur an apology, and I tell her I have to go, and I know she knows I'm really saying thank you. Thursday, November 23rd, on Thanksgiving. El Dia de Acción de Gracias. Twin and I join Mommy at church and help spoon mashed potatoes and peas and other American things we never eat at home onto homeless people's plates. I feel sick the whole day, like everyone can see that the only thing I'm thankful for is Mommy's silence. Even Twin, who looks at me with his puppy dog face, makes me want to overturn the table and crush all these mushy peas beneath my heel. Haiku. The best part about Thanksgiving was when Mommy returned my cell until I remember I've got no one to text. Rough draft of assignment 4. When was the last time you felt free? I must have been 5 or 6 because the memory is fuzzy, but my father had been watching a karate movie on TV, and my mother was at church, so there was no one to bother us. Twin and I tied long-sleeve t-shirts around our heads, and I used the bows from my church dresses to tie like karate sashes around our waists. We thought this made us look like ninjas, and we hopped from couch to couch, sliding off the plastic sofa covers, but never landing in the lava. Why were we ninjas in volcanoes? Who knows? I remember at one point looking up and seeing my mother in the living room doorway. I flung myself at her. There was freedom there, in flying, in believing I'd be caught. I can't remember if she did catch me, but she must have. Or wouldn't I remember falling? Rough draft of assignment 4. When was the last time you felt free? Maybe the last time I was happy saying a poem? With Amon listening to me, eyes half closed. That moment right before I opened my mouth, when I was nervous and my heart thumped fast, but I knew I could do it anyway, that I could say something, anything, in this moment, and someone was going to listen. Rough draft of assignment 4. When was the last time you felt free? Can a stoop be a place of freedom? I feel like any time I sat on a stoop, I could just watch the world without it watching me too closely. Over the summer, it feels like years ago, the downstairs stoop was a playground. It was a moment when I could breathe without anyone asking me to do or be anything other than what I was, a girl, an almost woman, sitting in the sunshine and enjoying the warmth. Dudes don't bother you too much when you're sitting on your own apartment stoop. When I sat on the stoop with the boy I thought really cared for me, there was freedom then too, in the way our bodies leaned toward each other, in the fact that I finally let myself be reckless. There is freedom in coming and going for no other reason than because you can. There is freedom in choosing to sit and be still when everything is telling you to move fast. Final draft of assignment 4, what I actually turn in. Xiomara Batista, Tuesday, December 4th, Ms. Gallianto, last time you felt free, final draft. Freedom is a complicated word. I've never been imprisoned like Nelson Mandela or some people I grew up with. I've never been encaged like a Rottweiler used for dog fights or like the roosters my parents grew up tending. Freedom seems like such a big word, something too big, maybe like a skyscraper I've glimpsed from the foot of the building but never been invited to climb. Gone. Even lunch has now become another place I absolutely hate. A group of boys has started stopping by our quiet table, trying to squeeze in next to us or look at what the girls are drawing, or trying to sneak peeks at my notebook. These are boys from some of my classes. Some even smoke with them on. Sometimes the teacher on duty notices. If it's Ms. Galliano, I'm safe. If it's not, I have to hope it's another teacher who gives a damn about the quiet girls in the corner. I can't afford any more trouble, so I keep my hands in my lap, I keep my mouth zippered shut, and every day I wish I could just become a disappearing act. Monday, December 10th, zeros. When Ms. Galliano returns assignment 4, I'm expecting a red 0 by my name, but instead there's a note. Xiomara, is everything okay? Let's talk after class. I've noticed your workmanship seems less thoughtful than usual, and you failed another quiz. See me. I try to think of the ways I can sneak out unnoticed. I have nothing to say to Ms. Galliano or anyone else. I fold the assignment sheet into small squares until I can squeeze it like a fortune tightly held in the center of my palm. Possibilities. Ms. Galliano is sneaky. Before the bell rings, she calls me to her desk and asks me to stand with her while she dismisses the other students, and she doesn't even try to ease into the conversation either. What's going on? You aren't submitting assignments, and you're even quieter than usual. But I don't have anything to tell her. If nothing else, my family believes in keeping las cosas de la casa en la casa. What happens in-house stays in-house. So I just shrug. What about poetry club? I keep expecting you to show up. Your writing is so good. You wouldn't have to read. Maybe you could just come and listen, see how you feel. I almost tell her I have confirmation class, that the times overlap. But then I remember Father Sean isn't expecting me to show up anymore, and well, Mommy is. Who would know I'm skipping as long as I'm there when she picks me up? Plus, I have so much bursting to be said, and I think I'm ready to be listened to. I swallow back the smile that tries to creep onto my face, but tell Ms. Galliano I'll redo the assignment if I can, and I'll see you at the club tomorrow. Can't tell me nothing. I don't know the last time I looked forward to something. The afternoons with Amon seem so long ago. We're in a new unit now, and Mr. Bildner has changed our lab partners. I'm with a girl named Marcy who doodles hearts over and over in her notebook. Sometimes I catch Amon looking at me from across the room, long looks that stretch the physical space between us, and although I'm still angry that he didn't stand up for me, a part of me feels like maybe I messed up too. But even if I wanted to fix it, there's really no reason why he and I can't have anything to do with each other. Looking back, maybe we had a parasitic relationship, one of us taking and the other only trying to stay afloat. Maybe it's better we ended, because what can I give him? Nothing but infrequent kisses, nothing but half-done poems, nothing but sneaking around and regret at all my lying. Nothing, but at least there's tomorrow. At least there's poetry. Tuesday, December 11th, Isabel. Ain't you the big-body freshman all the boys always talking about? I look at the only other person in Ms. Galliano's room, a girl in a pink tutu and Jordans who must be some kind of mixed. Despite my sweaty hands and racing heart, I almost laugh. I don't know why I thought poetry club would be any different than the rest of the world. I shrug. I'm actually a sophomore. She cocks her head at me and pats the seat next to her. I'm Isabel. Who would have thought you was a poet? Dope. First poetry club meeting. It's funny how the smallest moments are like dominoes lining up, being stacked with the purpose of knocking you on your ass, in a good way. I should be tight over Isabel's comments. Instead, I feel I like how straight up she is. Most people talk about me behind my back, but she says whatever is on her mind. I don't want to get excited, because who knows if I'll even come back, but it seems Ms. Galliano's small stack of posters called a cute little mix of people. We are 4 in total, a small club. 2 boys, Chris, who did a poem in my class before handing out flyers, and Stefan, who's super quiet, then Isabel from the Bronx. Ms. Galliano welcomes me to the club and asks everyone to read a poem as a way for them to introduce themselves to me. Chris and Isabel have theirs memorized, but Stefan reads from his notebook. My hands are shaking even before it's my turn, and I just keep hoping somehow I'll be skipped. Stefan's poetry is filled with the most colorful images, each line a fired visual landing on target. I don't always understand every line, but love the pictures being painted behind my eyelids. Chris Hodges is loud, a mile-a-minute talker, a comment for every poem. Everything is deep and wow. His own poem using words like abyss and effervescence. I think he's studying for the SAT. And then there's Isabel Pedamonte Riley. Her piece rhymes and she sounds like a straight-up rapper. You can tell she loves Nicki Minaj, too. That girl's a storyteller, writing a world you're invited to walk into. I sit wondering how writing can bring such strange strangers into the same room. And then it's my turn to read. Nerves. I open my mouth but can't push the words out. It's not like when I read to Aman. Although I wanted him to like it, I didn't feel like I had to impress him. But right now, I'm nervous, and the poem doesn't feel done yet, or like a poem at all, just a journal entry. A fist tightens in my stomach, and I take a deep breath to unclench it. I've never imagined an audience for my work. If anything, my poems were meant to be seen and not heard. The room is so quiet, and I clear my throat. Even my pause sounds too loud. Isabel speaks up. You got this, girl. Just let us hear every word. Ms. Galliano nods, and Stefan gives a soft, And so I grip my notebook tight and launch into the piece. When I'm done. Isabel snaps, and Ms. Galliano smiles, and of course Chris has a comment about my poem's complex narrative structure or something like that. I can't remember the last time people were silent while I spoke, actually listening, not since Aman, but it's nice to know I don't need him in order to feel listened to. My little words feel important for just a moment. This is a feeling I could get addicted to. Compliments. You did a great job today, Xiomara. I know it wasn't always easy to put yourself out there like that, Ms. Galliano says. And although I'm used to compliments, they're rarely ever about my thoughts, so I can't stop the smile that springs onto my face. I make sure to swallow it before it blooms too big. But it feels like an adult has finally really heard me, and for the first time since the incident, I feel something close to happiness. And I want to stay and talk to the other kids or to Ms. Galliano, but when I look up at the clock, I know I have to rush to church or Mommy will know that I skipped out. So instead, I just say thank you and leave without looking back. Caridad is standing outside the church. C. Confirmation let out early. Your mother's inside saying a prayer. I told her you were using the bathroom. X. Shit. I'm sorry. I know you hate lying to her. C. It's okay, Xiomara, but listen, you were mad lucky. Father Sean went straight to the rectory after class. X. I know. He would have blown up my whole spot. C. Are you dealing with that boy again? X. Actually, I was with 2 boys and a girl. Oh my God, you look like you might pass out. I was at a poetry club meeting. There were other kids there. Relax. C. You almost gave me a heart attack. Speaking of poetry, I heard about an open mic happening this Friday. You haven't had a social activity in a while. Down to go with me? X. I can't go, Caridad. You know Mommy won't let me. I'm still in trouble. C. She'll let you go, as long as it's with me and Xavier. Hope is a thing with wings. Although I doubt it, hope flies quick into my body's corners. Thursday, December 13th. Here. Although Mommy still huffs like a dragon at home, and Aman has stopped trying to say I'm sorry, and Twin seems sadder and sadder every day, and my silence feels like a leash being yanked in all directions, I actually raise my hand in English class and answer Ms. Galliano's question. because at least here with her, I know my words are okay. Haikus. Cafeterias do not seem like safe places. Better to chill, hide. I skipped the lunchroom. Instead, I sit, write haikus inside bathroom stalls. Haikus are poems. They have 3 lines, follow rules of 5-7-5. Traditionally, contrasting ideas are tied together neat. I'm like a haiku, with different sides, except no clean tie. I count syllables, using my fingers to help until the bell rings. Offering. I gather my thoughts and things when the bathroom door flings open. Head down, I begin rushing out when I hear the high-pitched voice. Hey, X. I look up to see Isabel in a denim shirt and another frilly-ass skirt. Her curly blonde fro, with a mind of its own, frames her stare. Tell me you ain't eat lunch in the bathroom? I clear my half-eaten lunch off the tray and into the trash. Without a word, reach for the door. Just because I saw you at Poetry Club doesn't mean we're homies, and is what I don't say, but want to. Isabel puts a gentle hand on my shoulder. That hand stops me in my tracks. X. I go into the photography room during lunch to eat and work on writing. It's quiet on this end of the floor, and the art teacher lets me chill. Come through if you'd like. Holding twin. I click the front door closed and reach for the house phone to call Mommy so she knows I'm in on time, but I feel Twin's loud sobs shake me to my bones. I drop my bag at the door and rush to the bedroom where Twin is curled on my bed, crying into a stuffed elephant. And for once, I'm glad we don't need words. I brush his curls and sit beside him. And I know something has happened with the red-haired boy. Did you get in another fight? I ask and shake him hard. Was it Cody? Was he the one that hit you before? But even through his tears, Twin looks at me like I'm crazy. No, he didn't hit me. Cody would never. That black eye was just some idiot in gym. This is so much worse. Cody. Twin's story comes out in pieces. He met Cody's family last week when his parents dropped him off at school. Apparently, they loved Twin, who wouldn't, and wanted him to come over for dinner. Parents being accepting of sexuality seems all kinds of bizarre to me because the thought of what my parents would do if they knew makes every bone in my body hurt. It seems perfect, Twin says. Finally, a person and place and family that accepts him for who he is. But it turns out Cody's father is being relocated for his job after winter break, and Cody thinks long distance will be too hard. So he broke it off with Twin and seems to have cracked something inside him in the process. I hold Twin close to me and rock him back and forth. Us Batista twins have no luck with love. You would have thought we'd be smarter guarding our hearts. Problems. Twin can't stop shaking, his whole skinny body trembling, and he's breathing so hard, his glasses keep fogging up. I take them off his face and pat his back and tell him we'll figure this out together, that with a bit more time and space, it'll all feel clearer. I glance at the clock. You need to calm down a bit. Mommy will be home soon. Shit. Mommy. I forgot to call her. Dominican Spanish lesson. Brava, female ending. Adjective, meaning fierce, ferocious, mad-tempered. As in, Mommy was mad brava when she came home because I hadn't called her, and even more so when she saw Twin crying and thought I had done something to him. As in, I became brava, Twin didn't correct her. I think he was too busy fighting back sobs, and the last thing I'm going to do right now is correct Mommy on anything. As in, we're both brava. She's already threatening to send me to DR after winter break instead of during the summer. The last thing I need to do is get on her bad side. As in, she was so brava her whole face shook and she began praying beneath her breath. Then she just pointed to the bathroom and I knew she meant for me to clean it. Permission. When Caridad calls later that night, Mommy listens to her talk on the phone. And although Mommy sounds all nice, she keeps shooting me the shadiest looks. Finally, she says, "Está bien." Fine. I can go with Caridad to a poetry event, but only if Twin comes along too. I am sure convincing him will be tough. His eyes are so swollen from crying. He's had to lie to my parents and tell them he rubbed his eyes after a chemistry lab gone wrong. But when I mention the open mic night, he must want any excuse not to think of Cody, because he quickly agrees to come along. Friday, December 14th, open mic night. The legendary Nuyorican Poets Cafe is not close to Harlem. It takes us 2 trains and a walk in the brick-ass cold to get there, and when we do, the line to get in is halfway around the block. Not even nightclubs around the way look half as packed as this. The cafe is dimly lit with paintings on the wall. The host is a statuesque black woman with a bright red flower in her hair. When she calls out the names on her list, I'm surprised to hear my own. Signed up. Caridad tells me she signed me up to perform, and immediately my hands start shaking. I've got to get out of here right now. But Caridad is having none of it. She just grabs my arm and twin pulls me along with the other. You got this, Zio. But every time someone gets on stage, I compare myself to them. Is my poem going to make people say, or snap? What if nobody claps? Some of the poets are so good. They make the audience laugh. They make me almost cry. They use their bodies and faces and know just how to talk into the mic. The host keeps the show moving, and as another person gets off stage, I know my name is creeping up her list until her clean, crisp voice calls out, Xiomara, and I'm frozen stiff. I think she's shy, y'all. Someone told me she's an open mic newbie. Keep clapping, keep clapping, keep clapping until she gets to the stage. And so now, not only am I frozen stiff, I'm also blushing and breaking into a sweat. And somehow I'm on my feet. And then the light, it's bright on my face, make me double blink hard. And the cafe that seemed so small before feels like it has a Madison Square Garden sized audience now. I have never experienced a silence like this. 100 people waiting for me to speak. And I don't think I can do it. My hands are shaking too much, and I can't remember the first line of the poem, just a big-ass blank yawning in my memory. My heart dribbles hard in my chest, and I look at the nearest exit, at the stairs leading to the stage. The mic is open, and the first line clicks. I say it, my voice trembling. I clear my throat. I take a breath. I begin the poem all over again. I forget the comparisons. I forget the nerves. I let the words fill the room. I let the words carry me away. People watch. They listen. And when I'm done saying a poem I've practiced in my mirror, they clap. And it sounds so loud that I want to cover my ears, cover my face. 2 poets perform after me, but I don't hear a word with my heart in my ears. Caridad squeezes my hand, and Twin looks happy for a moment, whispers, "You killed that shit." But it's not until we're leaving when the host grabs me by my arm and says, "You did that. You should come to this youth slam I'm hosting in February. I think it'd be real powerful." That's when I know I can't wait to do this again.